name is Malcolm Ramey.
And my name is Jerome Scott.
Have you noticed more African Americans dating more Asians lately?
How about more Hispanics dating Caucasians?
Well, stay tuned with us, because today we'll be answering the question, how does society look at interracial dating?
The goal of the study is to shed light on current views of interracial relationships based on public opinion with assistance from mass media.
In order to learn about where we are in society today, we must first look at the history of interracial relationships and how they were in the past. Stay with us.
It has grown since its cultivation to become the great melting pot of the world. The United States serves as home to many different religions and different ethnic backgrounds, which allows us to be a diverse nation. When bringing together different cultures, it is natural to see a combination of different cultures fused together. When this fusion takes place, different elements are lost while others are gained. When studying interracial relationships, it is important to understand that although certain customs may be lost, there is a strong benefit to combining two cultures. When learning about different cultures, it is also important to notice differences between the others and your own to find out how different cultures can live in harmony together without shunning the other cultures.
On interracial relationships have greatly changed since the country became diverse. Interracial relationships have become acceptable in society, where in the past it was greatly looked down upon. Today, it is not unusual to see two people of different cultures holding hands or together on a date. One could make the assumption that it would be difficult for both cultures in an interracial relationship to be prevalent. So what happens when two cultures come together in a relationship? Culture assimilation, or one conforming to the other cultures, will be the most logical approach. But it's also possible that a form of alteration will take place, and different traits from one culture will be adapted to fit the traits of another culture. We collected our data in our research through surveying and interviewing. We surveyed 20 students of both genders and various races to collect their perspective on interracial dating. The questions contain questions that would make them think about the assumptions of different people on interracial dating and how they felt personally about interracial dating. For the interviews, we picked two individuals, both one African American and one Hispanic, one female and one male. We grasped both of their perspectives on interracial dating as well.
To gain a better understanding of how our peers feel on the subject, we interviewed two of our fellow roadrunners.
Those students gave us a bigger approach on how they feel about the situation and the matter.
Let's take a look.
I think society has evolved to a state where we believe in diversity, and so therefore dating and interracial relationships are accepted. You know, as far as traditionally though, traditional families may have some objections to it. Me personally though, I find that it's okay. I mean, if that's the kind of world that you want to bring up yourself in and eventually rear children into, you know, and you want them to accept, then that's the world that you create.
Interracial couples are a representation of how our society has become very diverse, and a lot of things are more accepted now than they used to be in the past.
We would probably have a conversation as to what are my intentions and how I feel about that and how they feel about that, simply because of just understanding what it could mean, and am I ready for that? And if that was my decision, you know, they'd accept me, you know, but I think we may have to, you know, butt heads a little bit, you know, because we may have a lot less in common than I might think, and more differences that I'm willing to accept.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't ever think about it. It's just, I don't know, it's not, unless someone else is making a joke about it, it's not something that I usually notice immediately. But it also depends, like, what race it is. If it's, like, black and white, then it's not usually something I would say something about. But if it feels like maybe, like, a black and Indian person or a white and Indian person, because that's not as common, I might be like, oh, that's weird, you know, I've never seen that before.
European culture might be more embracing of it. Here in America, I mean, things have stayed pretty traditional from what I've experienced. I mean, I've lived in several different states, and I mean, I haven't seen that many interracial relationships, but I feel like, you know, from what I've seen and, you know, what I've gathered in, like, European cultures, you know, just because there is there's a different mix of, the cultures that are over there, such as, in the United Kingdom, in Spain, in Germany, in France, and there's just that cultural pot, and even in Asia, there's probably a little more inclination to be more accepting and receptive of interracial relationships. So probably over there.
Instructing them would be what their peers would think or what their parents would think. That would be a deciding factor. Like, oh, I would date them, but my parent doesn't like blah, blah, blah. And something that would, it kind of is the same thing, like what would attract someone to being an interracial couple would be the fact that maybe something that they've never tried before, or something that they're like, oh yeah, that would be cool if I did that, and then from there it kind of springs. Or if it's like they're attracted to that, but it's like, I don't know, adventurous kind of.
Like the media is definitely pushing for more. I want to say like they're pushing for diversity, but they're also pushing for a new image of society. So they definitely agree, whether it's in movies or on the news, and the more you're hearing about it more and more in the media. So I definitely think that's something that they portray as being acceptable and something they embrace, and even something they perhaps campaign for.
It's beneficial because, again, it kind of represents the change of our society, and for younger generations to see that it's acceptable to not only date your race and to date other people, because we're all people no matter what color we are. So it's beneficial in the sense that it kind of shows and represents that it doesn't matter who someone is, it's about their heart.
Our Hispanic male interviewee stated that interracial dating was a common thing now, and that society needed more of it. If society was to have more interracial dating, America would be the definition of what a melting pot is supposed to look like. From dating various races, individuals learn and experience various cultures other than their own, and also may decide to add or subtract to their own culture. If we were to focus on the answers from our survey, about half of the participants have been involved in an interracial relationship, and 19 out of 20 agreed that dating outside of your race is beneficial to society. Two cultures deciding to combine and create a happy home might be approached by more obstacles than a relationship where both individuals share the same culture, or for this matter, race. In the American culture, two races deciding to marry might have a completely different outcome than an interracial couple in a country that holds a powerful majority of one culture. In American society, interracial dating is becoming normal, and people are not taking two glances at an Asian male and a Hispanic female holding hands or enjoying a date. The change from the mid-1900s, where interracial dating was considered ungodly and a betrayal to one's own race, has become significantly through the 1990s, where media has portrayed more interracial dating. Through a successful relationship between two different races isn't impossible, the couple will face a few obstacles, either in the short run or the long run of the relationship.
Interracial couples have to individually decide on how the relationship will prosper, then come together to act upon the decision. There are three options for a cross-cultured couple, which are to assimilate, conform, or separate. The attitude and perception of interracial relationships has changed over time to now we are able to live under a common household with other cultures. Our study's goal was to understand and gain opinion on the current views of interracial relationships based on public opinion from our peers while looking at the way interracial relationships are portrayed through mass media. The research that we provided explained the background information on factors that lead individuals into developing interracial relationships and the public opinion that is shaped from these unions. It is strongly encouraged that if this is the field anyone is interested in studying, that it is important to understand that perspective varies with demographics and it is best to execute research on a specific age group. Thank you for watching our presentation, and we hope that you have enjoyed it.